Today's going to be obviously on Facebook ads, and we're going to talk about the campaigns. We're going to talk about the ad sets. We're going to talk about the ads because it gets a little complicated, doesn't it? If you've tried it and you haven't made money on ads, this is the that you want to be on, because this shows you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And in just a second, I'm gonna do some scribble drawing. I'm gonna jump over here. I used Photoshop, and I'm just going to draw in here and kind of draw this out, and then we're going to walk you guys through all those steps in there. And let me go over here now to Photoshop real quick. Okay, guys, I want to break this down as simply as I can, because it seems like Facebook ads just drives people nuts. But once you've got the basics down and you understand the basics and why you're doing this stuff, then you can make a lot of money. But it's really frustrating if you don't understand what you're doing. So let's look at the first level first off. The first level is going to be your campaign. Draw a little box here. Now, your campaign is going to be whatever your objective is, okay? So in this campaign here, we're going to say that we're trying to sell CrossFit equipment, okay? So our campaign goal is going to be to sell CrossFit equipment. Now, from the campaign, we're going to have what's called ad sets. Okay, so let me draw these out here. So normally you're going to have 8 to 10 different ad sets, but in this example here, I'll just put 3 on here so I don't have to do too much drawing. Okay, so these are going to be your ad sets. These fall below the campaign. I'm going to go really slow on this because a lot of people, but AS for ad sets, don't get this, okay? Now, the ad set itself, what it means is this is where you set your audience, okay? This is where you decide what age, what they like, what their interests are. And then below that, each ad set, we're going to have ads, okay? So here is your ad. Now, your ad itself is going to be where you're going to set the image and the actual ad. So these are going to be what the actual end user is going to see when they're done, is going to be your ad. The purpose between doing all of this stuff here is to figure out what works. It's not going to be like you're going to run an ad and you're going to make money on a product. It doesn't work that way. The goal is, and of course each one of these has these ads coming out of it, right? Now, what I like to do is I like to take these ads and have them all the same. Okay, so you got one ad here, you got one ad here, one ad here. Maybe they have 3 different images, and put those same ones right here also. So what you've got here is these are your different audiences, okay? Each one is a different audience. Each one is seeing 3 different ads right here. So since they're seeing these 3 different ads here, I can tell on which one of these is working, okay? So if I look at this and I find out that this particular one is working, but these aren't, I kill these, right? Kill these right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace these ad sets with new audiences. I'm going to go in just a second. We're going to look at audiences. If I find out that this ad's working in this audience, but these aren't, I kill these, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace these ads with this audience, and I'm going to replace these ad sets with new audiences. I hope that makes sense to you. Now, when we look at our audiences and what we're doing here now, our campaign itself has different meanings. Let's go in and look at that real quick. So this is a dummy account I set up here. So let's just go in here and we're going to look at our ads manager. And we're going to look at how this is set up. So I'm at my ads manager now, and it defaults to campaigns here, okay? So I don't have any campaigns in here because this is just a dummy account. But then there's a tab here that says ad sets, and then there's a tab here that says ads. That's what I just showed you on the other screen. You start with a campaign, Your campaign is your goal. So let's assume we're selling CrossFit gear to a fitness crowd. Our goal here, may be to, sell t-shirts or whatever. Now, what I like to do is I like to do a post, and what you do is you go up here, and if you go over here to all tools, okay, you're going to see this pop out right here. Okay, so then I would go to page post here and go ahead and post it. So let's go back to our ads manager, and we're on the campaign tab here. So let's create a campaign, and the campaign is going to be one of these choices down here. Okay, now let's look at all these choices we have. We have brand awareness, we have reach. I never use either one of these. I never ever use either one of these. So that's certainly up to you. If you'd like to try them, don't get it, don't use them. I don't know of, most people are making millions a year, they don't use these things. Over here in consideration, we use traffic, we use engagement. If you have app installs, you would do that. I don't use any of these things down here, none, okay? So the reason being is if I want traffic to something, that just means, and understand, you may think that, oh, gee, traffic, that's great. If I get a lot of traffic, I'm going to sell a lot of products. It doesn't mean that at all. All traffic means is traffic. That means a lot of people are going to come there. It doesn't mean they're qualified to buy. It doesn't mean they will buy. Initially, a lot of people make the mistake because they go with traffic. They think, I just want a ton of people coming to my site. I want a ton of people coming to my page. And when they do that, they lose a ton of money because that's not what it's designed for. If you want somebody to buy your product, you would go over here to where it says conversions. Conversion means they convert, they do something. This would also be used if you're trying to get leads. Let's say you have a download that you want to do, something like that. You would use conversions, okay? So that would be the next thing you would use. I don't use catalog sales. I don't use store visits, neither one of these. So basically, we've narrowed this down to conversions, traffic, or engagement. Now, why would we ever use engagement? Well, what I like to do is I like to actually put a post up. And then once we put the post up, we want it to have a lot of, engagement, I guess. So what we'll do is we'll run an engagement campaign in the beginning before we actually run the ad to sell the product. And here's what that looks like. I'm going to click on engagement, and then I'm going to pick countries that are known to engage a lot. Now, those countries, if you want to jot these down, are Pakistan, India, Philippines. So if I pick any one of those countries and I pick engagement, and what engagement means is I'm going to get likes, I'm going to get comments, and I'm going to get shares. And the reason I'm going to do that is that once I actually run the ad and people see the ad, I want them to look down and see all of this engagement, likes, comments, and shares, and it's probably going to make them more likely to buy the product. If I run an ad and it has no likes on it, it has no comments, it has no shares, people are going to go, well, that probably isn't any good. But in the beginning, I want to run this engagement to countries that are cheap, okay? So I'm going to click on this engagement right here, and down here, the engagement, I may put engagement top countries. And I happen to know what that is. It's the ones I just mentioned to you, which is going to be the Philippines, and it's going to be India, and it's going to be Pakistan. And there's probably more out there, but those are the ones I just picked because they're really cheap. So I'm going to click continue right here. So now what we were at is we're at our ad set. Now, if you remember, I said ad set is where your audience is, okay? So this ad set name could just be top, engage, okay, top engage countries. So that's going to let me know what I did here. It's just going to remind me what this audience is, okay? So down here, I'm going to get rid of the United States because the United States would be way too expensive to do this with. Now, this is not to sell my product. Understand, this is for what? Engagement, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in countries that I want, which would be Pakistan right here, and it pops right up. I'm also going to include the Philippines, and I'll include India. Okay? So what I've done here is I've selected these countries that are known for engagement. I don't care about this age at all. right? Because it doesn't matter to me really. I'm just trying to get some engagement going. I may set this at only to 64. I never like to hit the 65 plus because that gets everybody above 65. So, you know, you're serving it up to people who are 105 years old, and that's probably a waste of money. So I'm just going to do that. I don't care about gender. I don't care about language. I don't care about any of this, because understand this is just an engagement thing. I don't even care about these placements here. When I get into conversions, I'm going to care about these placements. So I'm going to set a daily budget of, let's say, $5. And understand when I do these engagement campaigns, I'm probably only going to spend $3 to $5 total. That's it to get engagement. And you'll find that you can get an engagement for like, you know, 1/10 of 1 penny. So you can get hundreds and hundreds of likes and comments and stuff for probably under $5 if you do it this way. And then I'm going to click continue here. And if I had a post, I would do the drop down here and I would actually select the post, whatever it happened to be. Actually, here's a post I could grab, but I'm not going to grab it. And then that post, well, go ahead and we'll grab it and stick it in there. So that post would appear right here because this is a post I did. And then you can see, you know, where it was posted from. And so, yeah, so there's that post. So if you notice, pixels aren't here because you can only do that on conversion tracking. And I'm not doing conversion, right? I'm just doing engagement. And then I would confirm. And I'm not going to confirm this because I don't really want to run an ad right now, but I just want to show you how that works. So as you see, we've got all these boxes checked now because we've been through all these things. So let's go back now to campaign. And this time, let's assume that we ran this engagement campaign. We got a tons of likes and shares and all this. This only takes like a day or two of running this. So then I want to switch over and I want to run conversions, because what a conversion is purchases. See right here? Now I can pick these other things, leads, registrations, you know, custom conversions, whatever I want, but I'm going to pick purchases. So in the purchases one, what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to put whatever the product is. So I may say CrossFit pants, whatever I'm selling, doesn't matter, okay? So that way I know that this campaign name is for CrossFit pants and that's what I'm selling. So I'm going to hit continue here. And then I'm going to put in the age group, and I've, you know, maybe already gone into audience insights and decided that my age group is 25 to 35, and I'm going to say CrossFitters. Now I would want to get more specific on this once I really know what my audience is. I'm just doing this as a sample right here. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to go down and I'm going to build my audience. Now, what you want to do, obviously, if you're asking people to buy stuff, is you want to send it to countries that have money, period. I mean, just makes sense. Why would you send it to a country that doesn't have money? You can send it to India and Pakistan and Philippines, but, you know, their annual income isn't very high, so you're probably not going to sell anything. So the top four are the United States, Canada, all right, and Australia, right, and the UK, which is the United Kingdom. Okay, these are the top four. Now you can play around with this if you want. I just run it to those. They just seem to work, you know. Now, like some of our products, we sell survival foods. We can't ship to these other countries, so we just target the US. But if you notice over here, it's going to tell you your potential reach is 310 million. Yeah, that's a little big. Okay, so we don't want to do that. So we've already determined, I think, in the beginning, this was going to be 25 to 35-year-olds. So let's put that in there. And understand, this is one of those audiences I talked about in the ad set, because we're building an ad set here, right? We go up to the top. See, this is new ad set, okay? So as we go down here, now we want to start targeting who these people are. So let's put in CrossFit. Let's see what we come up with. Okay, so we've got 65 million people who like CrossFit, and they say with all those countries, you've got a potential reach of 89 million. Obviously, that's too big, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to narrow our audience. You got a choice of excluding people here or narrowing your audience, okay? So let's go ahead and click on narrow. And now it's going to say, and must also match at least one of the following. So let's put in CrossFit again. And let's see if we can find something that is interesting to us, that works for us. So you've got that audience inspector tool if you have Digital Cash Academy, and you can really blow through this really quick using that. But let's say we want them to also like the CrossFit Games. So they're going to have to like CrossFit and the CrossFit Games. Now, as you see, that lowered this, not enough, but I'm going to show you how to lower it more in just a second. One thing we want to do is go down here. There's a little box that's checked. We want to uncheck this box, because what this is going to do is expand interest. I don't want to expand it. I want to go to the interest that I want it to. So as soon as I click that, if you notice over here, it goes down to 6.4 million. Okay. Now that's too big for me still. So I'm going to put in another CrossFit one. What else can I find here? I'm going to also say people. Let me look down here and see what my choices are. And you notice there's like groups in here, like I love CrossFit, different things. Let's see here. I'm going to say CrossFit Journal. So anybody who's into running, we don't want that, cut our audience in half here. And I want to narrow this down a touch more. So I'm going to say just the CrossFit Games, physical fitness, and I'm just going to put CrossFit Games. I really want to narrow this down, okay? So now I'm down to 1.5 million people, which is exactly what I want to do. I'm shooting for 600,000 to 1.5 million people. Now, what I want to do when I get down to here is I don't want this automatic placements. I want to edit the placements. And why do I want to edit it? Because I want it to look like it's not an ad. If I don't edit this, it's going to go in their audience network into native banners, in-stream video. I don't want any of that stuff, okay? So I'm going to get rid of that. And this is also going to make my audience a little bit smaller. I don't want to do Messenger. I don't want to do Instagram. Now look at this. My reach is down to 150,000 people, which is too small, right? So I'm going to get rid of these because they don't run where I want them to. And then I may go ahead and add back some people up here because I'm at 150,000. That's not going to be near enough. So I'm going to go back up here and add a couple more CrossFit things. I'll add back that games thing. CrossFit Games, that gets me to 180,000. And since I've got it down here, I'm going to delete it. That gives me 2.5 million. And I can play around with this. You can adjust it back and forth. It's still a little bit too high. But I think you get the idea here. So once I go through and do all this, and I've changed where it's going to appear, okay, I can actually pick devices. If you want to go mobile only, you can certainly do that. But I'm going to leave it alone. Then I'm going to set my ad budget right here. Just like I did before, I'm going to set it at $5 because this is just testing, okay? I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to leave it at automatic bid. I never mess with a manual bid. That gets really technical, and I know people are doing it who are spending millions a month, but I don't do that. I don't spend that kind of money on ads. So we're going to click continue here. And then this is where, if you're not doing a post, which you certainly can, but if you're not doing a post, you're going to add your image here. You're going to pick a carousel, which means 2 or more images, or you're going to pick a single image, but you can, have up to 6 ones rotating in there. You can put a video, you can put a slideshow in here. Now, if you want to use an existing post, you're going to go up here to the top. In other words, if you don't want to put this in, you've already made a post and you run traffic to it, like I showed you the example, with engagement, then you're going to go right up here and click existing post. And then, of course, you're going to pick your post, whatever it was. And I think we picked this one before. So obviously, that's not a CrossFit one. That's for ClickBank. But that gives you an idea. So what we're doing here is we're actually doing just like what I said here. You've got your campaign, you've got your ad sets, and then you've got your ads. And we're just going to figure out which ones work. That's it. Okay? Understand that this is not, you're not going to automatically make money. What you're doing is you're actually testing. Okay? So each time you do this, it's a test, okay? These are tests. And what happens is when we run these tests, we're going to get failures, which is good because what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what does not work, okay? That's the idea. The idea is to figure out when we go up here that this one didn't work, this one didn't work, but this one did. So since this one worked, what we're going to do here with this one and this one, right? Is we're going to duplicate it, okay? We're going to duplicate it. We're not We're not going to increase our ad spend over $5. Matter of fact, what we're really going to do is we're going to duplicate the ad itself, okay? And then what we're going to do is in this ad, maybe we'll run it at $50, okay, instead of $5, okay? So we're in $50 ads here. I found, and I can't tell you why, but I found that if you increase the ads, or ad spend, excuse me, on these ads, they always go bad. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. So we're going to leave this one here, okay? We're going to leave it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate, like I said, and we are going to have a higher ad spend. So you leave these running, you duplicate them, and then you put a bigger ad spend. Now, I'm not saying you do 50, you could do 20, you could do 10, whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever your budget is. And like I said, we're going to run a test 8, right, to 10 audiences, 8 to 10 audiences, okay, or ad set, right, because an audience is an ad set. I want you to start thinking in those terms, okay, ad set, okay. And then what we're going to do with each ad set is we're going to run 2, right, to 3 different ads or images. I like to run the same ad with the different images. So that's how you do it. It's not that hard. You know, I want to go back here real quick and show you. But you know what you have here is you have your top section here. You have your campaign. Below the campaign is the actual ad set. Within the ad set, you're going to have conversions. You're going to have whatever your offer is. You're going to select your audience. You're going to put your placements, and then you're going to put your budget. Now, once you've done all this, this is all background stuff. Nobody sees this, right? This is a setup. Then you're going to go into your ad, and you're going to have your identity and your creative. And that's basically how you're going to set this up. And you're going to constantly test. You're going to constantly replace until you get ones that work. So let me go ahead and take a few questions now from some of you.